landscape architect. That's what my degree is in from the University of Illinois. And we learned about plants. One of the classes was plant identification. And in Illinois, there are no eucalyptus trees, but out west there are. And a eucalyptus tree, I found out, grows very, very rapidly. It turns a place green really fast, and they die young. And they're very inexpensive. If you go to a nursery to buy a eucalyptus tree, you can buy them for really cheap. The reason they're trashy trees. They're like giant weeds, but a lot they are. But contractors that are like churn and burn type contractors, they'll a lot of times if they're building a condominium complex, they'll plant eucalyptus trees because they'll grow really fast and turn the place green really fast. But they'll die young, and the root system gets into the pipes and the swimming pool, and it leaves debris. And when there's storms, the branches are very brittle, and they'll break off and land on cars. And I mean, they're a messy tree. There's a great use for eucalyptus. There's a couple of good uses for eucalyptus trees, but not like that. Then there's the oak tree. The oak tree grows very, very slowly. It's one of the slowest growing trees, and they live forever. And they have a taproot that goes hundreds of feet into the ground. Eucalyptus tree is very unstable, and it's got a root system that goes wide. Okay, it goes like this along the ground. It doesn't go down into the ground. So many times in storms, strong storms, the eucalyptus tree will get blown over. All right, how does this apply to what we do? It's perfect. So a eucalyptus tree, can you all see this? Can you see what I'm drawing up here? Can we put this up, Dave? So on a eucalyptus tree, the root system goes like this. And an oak tree, can you guys see that?
Yeah.
The root system goes like this. So this is anchored, and this is very unstable. Now how does this apply? Remember, a eucalyptus tree grows fast. In our business, in the type of business that we're in, when you sponsor a lot of, it's not very often, but once in a while someone will come in, they sponsor a lot of people really fast, really wide. It's like I sponsor all of you personally. A lot of personal. What'll happen is I'm going to get a big check, like a eucalyptus tree green, lots of green. I'm going to get a big check, woohoo, right? But the organization is very unstable because there's no depth to the organization. On the other hand, but there's a lot of income. There's a lot of green here. Here, it's much slower. The checks are much, much smaller, but you got a very rock-solid organization. Now, in this business, it's about personally sponsoring. In this business, it's about building depth. And building depth doesn't mean putting people under each other. That's the same as this. Putting people under people is the same as this. What this is working the network within the network. So I'm going to talk about how to do this. So what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about key people, and we're going to talk about key legs. Key people and key legs. Now how do I know if I have a key person? Jimmy talked about sorting. I sort very rapidly through people by asking questions and listening, and I observe people. You can tell if someone's got the right energy and the hunger by observing them. If they've got the right energy and the hunger. The third aspect is energy, hunger, and it's also network. It's their network. Energy, hunger, and network. But here's the three things. When I sign somebody up, I'm looking for these three things. Always. First, do they call me? Or do I have to chase them? Second, do they show up? Meaning, are they on the conference calls? Or are they at the meetings and the treat them rights, and I didn't have to remind them? Third, I didn't have to chase them, right? Third, are they doing something? In other words, they're actually asking people to be customers and trying to show the business. Those are the three things. When I see somebody doing those three things, I know I have a key person. So if they don't do those three things, they're not a key person. So if I've sponsored 15 people personally over the course of a couple of years, and none of them are calling me, showing up, or doing something, do I have a key person? No. Even if, what if they're really, really good? In other words, they're really, really well connected, they're really, really successful, they're a great communicator, but they're not calling me, they're not showing up, and they're not doing anything. Are they a key person? No. So in my last company, I sponsored 15 people over a period of a little over a year and a half before I found my key person. My key person, I worked with her for a long time and her husband before they got going. I mean, a number of weeks. But it was Jackie. And here's the way it worked. This is how you find a key leg. A key leg is not a key leg until it has at least 4 key people in it, like this. A, B, C, and D. Those are all key people. They're all key people. That means that these are people that are showing up on their own, they're calling you, and they're doing something on their own. When it's 4 levels deep, you have a key leg. This is a key leg. Now, when you have a key leg, you can typically leave it alone, and it will continue to grow. Grow and grow, and it'll very rarely die. It will just grow and grow and grow. It's a taproot. And it'll produce incredible income for you. When you have one, and I'm going to explain how to get there in a minute. When you have one key leg, your car payment is covered. And it's like having a free car. Your car payment and expenses. When you have 2 key legs, your house payment is covered, and your expenses for your house. It's like having a free house. When you have 3 key legs, it's like having its job replacement income. At that point, you've got job replacement. When you have 4 key legs, you have discretionary income. That's extra income above and beyond what you need to pay your expenses, your living expenses. And when you have 5 key legs, you have wealth. Now, how long does it take to create a key leg? If you're consistently working the business a few hours a week, let's say you're working at 2 to 4 hours. Let's say an hour to 3 hours a day. 1 to 3 hours a day. It's going to take you a year to create your first key leg. Typically, a year. That means after a year, your car payment is replaced. Second year, your house payment. Third year, job replacement. That's if you're working 1 to 3 hours a day. How many of you would work for 5 years, 1 to 3 hours a day, to have wealth? Residual income. Significant residual income. That's what this is. That's what this plan right here will produce. Now, how do you create that? How do you make this happen? I'll give you a real-life example. In fact, I've done this in send-out cards. I've got 7 key legs in send-out cards. Packards are one of those key legs. Todd Falcone's a key leg. Bob and Betty Ann Golden's a key leg. Mark Hertering's a key leg. Judy O'Higgins is a key leg. There's 7 legs like that. Jerry Knight and Sid and Sam Merrill are a key leg. But here's how it happens. So I signed up, showing the business 3 days a week on my job or on my lunch. I started signing up distributors. And most of these presentations were done at a coffee place. But this was a period of 2 years. I signed up 15 people, and I was making very little money. So this is 15 people. And then I signed up Jackie. Now, Jackie she had no interest in network marketing. She was skeptical. She had a bad taste in her mouth about it, didn't want to have anything to do with it. But then she observed me, and we worked together at America West Airlines. This was my first experience in network marketing, and Jackie decided that she wanted to learn more about it after watching me for a little while. She invited me to her home. Mark, her husband, who's an airline pilot, grilled me. They asked me a ton of questions, and then eventually she signed up, and she started signing up people. Lisa Neller, Annette, I don't know when they came in, but all these different people. And then, do you remember what rep Judy was of yours? 4th. That's what I thought. So Judy was her 4th distributor. Jackie was my 16th distributor. Judy was her 4th. Judy, on her own, started calling us, asking us questions, showing up on conference calls, wanting to do 3-way calls. Myself and Jackie decided we need to go to New Mexico. So we went to New Mexico, and Judy had a group of people in her living room. And we talked to that group and signed up a handful of people. 1 leg, 1 key leg. This leg grew to 12,000 distributors over time and 40,000 customers. And that was one of, and this was over a period of a few years. We worked with this group. We kept going back, we kept doing calls, meeting the new people that were coming in, conference calls, all that kind of stuff. In my career with that company, I had 5 legs like that out of 129. meaning 124 of those became customers or quit. In this business, I have 7 out of 270 that I've signed up. 7. I'm looking for my next one. Some of you are in those, many of you in this room are in those 7 legs, right? So that's kind of how that works. So what you're looking for, here's how it kind of goes. This is how it goes. Sponsor, 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 sponsor. Maybe you're focusing on 2 a month. Sponsor, sponsor, and then you get your key person. Then you and them work together to sponsor, 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 doing 3-way calls, answering questions. I'm doing that with a lady back east right now. Every day we're on the phone answering questions and with her prospective distributors. And then I'm looking for the next key person, which will be her A and my B. It's my B, her A. Does that make sense? Then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to work together, and maybe I'm not available, but she is, or maybe she's not available, but I am. We're going to work together until we find the next one, key person. And when that hits 4 levels deep, when we have 4 key people, that leg is going to be pretty much self-sufficient. I mean, we'll still do some maintenance stuff on it, but it's going to grow on its own. 1 key leg, car payment. 2 key legs, house payment. 3 key legs, job replacement income. 4 key legs. How fast do you want to do it? And do you know, I've never met a network marketing leader. If you guys, we walked over to that new skin meeting right now and grabbed the top 10 money earners, and that they have all their top money earners over there. We grabbed the top 10 money earners and brought them up here on the stage, and every one of them. How many people have you sponsored? 50 to 150. How many people are responsible for 95% of your income? 2, 3, 1. Every one of them. It's the same in every company, in our company as well. Jim Packard, where are you? Jim's one of our top 5. Jim, how many people? Hey, Sarah! How you doing? Awesome. Jim, how many people are responsible for 95% of your income? How many legs? 3. And you sponsored a few hundred people, right? In 7.5 years, he sponsored a few hundred people. You know, people say all the time, this is a leadership meeting, so I'm going to say this. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but I'm going to say this. And I get sick of it, you guys. I'll just be honest with you. I don't like hearing it. I hear it all the time. I hear it every day. I hear it from people from other companies. Jordan is an enigma. That no one else will ever be able to make what Jordan's making in send-out cards. I'm going to tell you something right now. I have 65,000 people in my organization, which to many of you, that sounds like a lot. That's a small, and I know people that have 2.5 million in their downlines in other companies. 60,000 people sounds like a lot, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you build a group of 65,000 people, and there are many, many groups of 65,000 people out there for you, many. If you build a group of 65, you're going to do 1,000, you're going to make what I'm making. If you go out and sponsor hundreds of people, there's a good likelihood you're going to have 4 or 5 or 6 key legs, and your business is going to be big. So it's out there, it's waiting for you, it's right there, it's at your fingertips if you choose to go out and do it. That's right. Every person is in 7 people's downline. Yeah. So how much time do I have, Dave? 15 or no?